Welcome back to the dark side of YouTube. Tonight, we have 3 disturbing stories that will ruin your sleep. Story 1, Night Shift Stalker. Story 2, The Whispering Bunker. Story 3, The Uncanny Neighbor. Turn off your lights, lock your doors, and let us begin. I worked the overnight shift at a remote gas station off Route 9. It was usually quiet, but tonight felt wrong from the moment I clocked in at midnight. The wind howled against the glass panes, and the neon sign flickered uncontrollably, buzzing like a dying insect. Around 1:15 a.m., the security monitors burst into white static. When the picture cleared, I saw a tall silhouette standing motionless near Pump 4. I looked out the front window, but there was no one there, just empty darkness. The chime above the door rang, but no one stepped inside. The icy night air flooded the lobby, bringing the smell of damp earth and rust. I grabbed a heavy flashlight from beneath the counter and walked slowly toward the entrance. The landline phone behind the desk started ringing loudly. I rushed back and picked up the receiver. All I heard was heavy, distorted breathing and a wet, raspy voice whispering, "Look behind the freezer." I slowly tiptoed down the snack aisle toward the back walk-in freezer. Every step echoed in the dead silence. Shadows seemed to stretch and twist along the floorboards around me. The lock on the back storage room door was snapped clean off. Fresh, muddy footprints led straight inside. I shined my flashlight beam into the dark room, my heart hammering against my ribs. Hanging from the ceiling rafters was a pale, skeletal creature with unnaturally elongated limbs and wide, glowing yellow eyes. It dropped down silently in front of me, smiling a smile that split its face from ear to ear. I screamed and sprinted out to my car, peeling out of the parking lot into the rain. I never went back to that job. Police searched the station the next day. They found the store empty, but carved into the wall was my full name. Story 2, The Whispering Bunker. My friends and I decided to explore the dense Blackwood forest after hearing rumors of an abandoned World War II bunker. The forest was unnaturally quiet. No birds, no wind, just our footsteps crushing dead leaves. Deep in a ravine, we discovered a rusted iron hatch embedded into the muddy ground, sealed with heavy chains. The chains were broken and hanging loose, as if something had pushed its way out or in. We pulled open the heavy metal hatch and pulled out a rusty ladder leading down into pitch blackness. As soon as my boots hit the cold concrete floor, the smell of damp decay filled my lungs. The corridor stretched endless before us. Soft, rhythmic clicking sounds echoed from deep down the hall. We paused, holding our breath, trying to pinpoint where the noise was coming from. We found a control room with ancient reel-to-reel audio equipment still humming faintly with electrical power. We pressed play on a tape. A frantic voice screamed. It mimics our voices. Do not answer if it calls you.
Suddenly, a loud metallic slam roared above us. The entrance hatch had been slammed shut and locked. Panic set in as our flashlights began to flicker and die one by one. Out of the darkness emerged a faceless, tall creature with skin like cracked leather, mimicking my friend's exact voice. "Help me, I'm scared," it whimpered in my friend's voice, though my friend was standing right beside me.
We ran desperately through side tunnels until we found an emergency ventilation exit and crawled out into the night. We survived, but even now, whenever I hear my own voice echoed, I shudder in absolute horror.
Story 3: The Uncanny Neighbor. I moved into apartment 4B last month. The rent was impossibly cheap, but I quickly learned why. The neighbor in 4A never came out during the day, but every night at 3 a.m., strange sounds began.
It started with wet scratching noises against the shared bedroom wall, followed by heavy dragging sounds. I knocked on the wall to complain, but the scratching stopped instantly and was replaced by eerie giggling. One night, I built up the courage to look through my front door peephole into the dark hallway. Standing outside door 4A was a person bent at impossible angles, staring directly at my door.
There was a knock on my door. A soft voice outside said, "Open up. It's the landlord checking the pipes." But my landlord was a woman. The voice outside was a raspy, unnatural, deep growl, trying to sound human. The door handle began jiggling violently. Whatever was outside began throwing its body against the heavy wood. Splinters flew into the apartment as the lock began to crack under extreme force. I pushed my dresser in front of the door and escaped onto the fire ladder, calling the police from the street. When police arrived and breached apartment 4A, they were horrified by what they discovered inside. Apartment 4A was completely empty. No furniture, no lights, just thousands of printed photos of me sleeping, glued across all walls. And in the center of the ceiling was a dark hole stretching into the building's ventilation system.
I moved to another state the very next day. I changed my number and deleted my social media. But last night, I heard a familiar wet scratching sound coming from my new ceiling. It found me.
Subscribe for more horror stories and leave a comment with which story terrified you the most tonight.